The public safety meeting for the city of Hudson to order on August 8th. And roll call, please.
Alderperson Hall.
Here.
Alderperson Morset.
Here.
Alderperson Wakefield.
Here.
Number 3 is our public comments. If there's anybody here that wants to speak to any issue that is not on our agenda, is now, if you feel free to come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Short. My name is Jeff Ritchie. My address is 499 8th Street. And the reason why I'm here is I've made a valiant effort to work with my neighbors. My neighbors are the Willow River Cemetery. And some of you know me here, know I have a history with the cemetery over the last 20 years. We've gotten along really well. Got some things worked out. And where we're at right now is about 5 years ago, I asked them to start cleaning up the woods a little bit. About 4 years ago, we had straight line winds. I call it a tornado. Took down about 35 trees right outside my front window. Anyway, I requested them to start cleaning it up a little bit, making some amends because it's dangerous. There's trees that are standing with no base, just standing in a tree, so if it falls over, you could hurt somebody. It is a public cemetery, okay? I also, in November, seeing how they weren't doing anything, I made them an offer of $50,000 to buy the property. Now, let's understand something. The property that I was buying was useless. The cemetery can't put a grave within 120 or 200 feet of my dwelling. That's state and federal law. So I made them an offer of $50,000 to buy 125 feet, 250 feet long, the same property they sold down on Wisconsin Street for $148,000 that you can build a house on and you have taxable base. This was a worthless piece of junk. I told them that I would clean it up for free. They told me to. So anyway, I moved on. I asked them why I couldn't go in there and clean up the woods. They told me I needed a waiver. They needed to get one from somebody, a waiver that released them from my liability. I have a copy on my phone, and my wife and my children have a copy from Facebook telling anybody in the community on February 21st, Facebook posting, come cut in the cemetery woods, please. Following week, there was a gentleman in the woods cutting. I approached him and said, hey, thank you very much for coming and cutting and helping. My wife won't let me in the woods to play by myself. I'll come help you cut. I'll help you clean the woods. Guy never came back, never called. 2 weeks later, I've got an Irish wife. She said, I'm unemployed and I'm handy, go clean the damn woods. So I did. I hauled out 72 brush piles, put them in my parking lot next to the water department. Very nice neighbors, very helpful. I called the cemetery up and said, listen, I've got a bunch of brush here I need to get rid of. I've got a third of the way into the woods here. I'm just getting started. Can you come help me? Can you help me figure out what to do with the brush? Because I can't burn it in the city limits. I had 36 piles sitting there. I apologize, I burnt some, okay? But the bottom line was the cemetery showed up, looked at the pile. On a Sunday, the next day, on a Sunday in my house, in my afternoon when I'm sitting in my kitchen, I get a guy coming up my drive and hands me a note and says that I can no longer trespass on the property adjacent to my house, public property. I can no longer trespass. Fine. I went in there and I cleaned up at least 4.5 to 5 cords of wood, cut up, well, he's seen it. I made it look at least halfway decent for at least 70 or 80 feet in. Now, if you guys can imagine this, when a wind comes that blows the trees one direction, I started on the butt end, where all the meat was. Not the top end, where all the brush is and the bush is. Right now, 150 feet from my home is a brush pile that's 120 feet long, 8 feet high, 60 feet wide. Now, I've requested them to clean it up. They sent me a letter 3 days later saying that they're going to clean it up, but they didn't specify what they were going to clean up. But what they did clean up was the land on the east side of the cemetery next to Dr. Schmidt's house and the rest of the houses by Knollwood there, where they had their dump site. They weren't allowed to put their dump there anymore because I don't know who complained or what happened. I don't want to get involved. But then they moved their dump site to behind the house in the woods. Obviously, they knew that they can't be doing these brush piles. So they sent me a letter telling me they were going to take care of it. They did the following day. They took care of those brush piles, all cleaned up. But I've got a brush pile within 125 feet of my home that if it was any of you, wouldn't be acceptable. So let me ask you this one final question. Each one of your pieces of property in the city limits of Hudson is considered a parcel. Each parcel has its own right. If your neighbor next to you or my water department or I have my grass more than 12 inches tall, I can complain to the city and have it cut. But yet I've got a brush pile, as he has seen, that is huge. And all I asked was for them to clean it up. If they had left me alone, it would have been cleaned up, would have probably cost them about $7,000, because someone's got to get rid of the brush. Now, I'm leaving it up to them, and my question to you is that if this is a city ordinance, a nuisance ordinance, because that's what it is, according to the city of Hudson, they have 30 days to clean it up. I want to know what the city's going to do about it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Any questions?
We really can't ask you to answer until, we get formally put on the agenda for it.
How do I formally put myself on the agenda?
You talk to Melanie or the chief of police here, or you ask me, which now that you've presented, we'll put you back on.
Put me back on the agenda,
Yeah.
if you could.
What's the date of that letter quoted?
Which letter?
The one they sent you?
The date of the letter is April 19th, the one that says that they're going to do the work.
You need that?
That's the only copy I have. My wife
Yep.
doesn't know.
Okay.
I can't do it unless she's there.
Appreciate you bringing it to our attention,
No,
Jeff.
I thank you guys. I didn't want to do this. I wanted to clean it up myself. But the cemetery, for some reason, and I can understand it, felt like too much.
Yeah, well,
When you put people in the street right away, you get caught.
we'll follow up. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Any other comments? Okay, number 4, approval of the May 9th regular meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
If there's no corrections, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. New business, number 5A, the Spirit of the St. Croix Art Festival, and I guess we're being presented with, do you have anything to add? I don't think so, but is there any issues any concerns that anybody's had?
We don't have any concerns with the event.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. That was painless, Mary Claire. You're lucky tonight, huh? 5B, amending Chapter 118 of the Hudson Code, Controlled Substances and Drug Paraphernalia.
So this is becoming an issue because of recent state law changes, changing the definitions for tobacco shops and smoke shops. And it's been a little bit of an issue for us in the schools with the language in our ordinances that prohibit tobacco and prohibit electronic nicotine delivery systems, but they're bringing stuff with CBD in. Doesn't fit the ordinance. We have shops that want to open up and sell this stuff, but they're not going to sell tobacco, so they don't require a license. We have no way to mandate them to follow any specific rules. So in an effort to kind of update our ordinance language with the new trends that we're seeing, we're trying to amend our drug paraphernalia and controlled substance ordinance to include the CBD, Delta 8 THC, Delta 10 THC, and things like that, so that we can regulate the sale and the age of those that can possess and buy those products.
And most of this is the cartridges or actually the candies and the edibles as well.
Everything.
So it encompasses
Infused-
everything. I don't see
infused-
cartridge in there.
Infused drinks. Basically, if it's got these identified chemicals in it, it's it, right? So, this was kind of copied from the Marathon Cities Code, when we were doing some work with the Department of Revenue, what's their, the alcohol, tobacco agents.
Yeah, ATF.
Yeah. They recommended this type of an update. This specific update is what they recommended.
Okay, so it says the device, electronic smoking device that delivers it, do you need to put cartridge in there to specify, or is that, it works?
Yep, it works.
Is all of this stuff legal in Minnesota now?
Well, it's all legal in Wisconsin.
Oh, it's all legal in Wisconsin. Okay, so it just can't be,
The CBD, the Delta 8, the Delta 10, THC, HCC, HCC0, THCA, THC0, THCP, THCV. It's all derivatives of
Okay.
THC
Yep.
products, right? It's harvested at different maturity
Oh, okay.
stages of the plant.
all right. So this is just restricting it for people who are
Correct.
21,
It's-
under 21.
Under 21, and then providing some sort of a definition for these items in our code, so that, I mean, eventually we're gonna have to change the definition of a tobacco shop or a smoke shop for the city. Those will be coming later, but this is the first one that we're trying to just encompass this stuff so that we can adequately control and regulate and enforce it.
Okay. Thank you. I do have one typo that I found.
How could you tell with all the abbreviations in there?
I'm a chemist. Page 15 of the packet, under D, it's in the third line, it says FUST and it should say FIRST.
I am trying to find, where are you? Are you in the ordinance?
I am in the ordinance, yes.
So what section is it under?
Okay, section 118-2, part 3,
C, right?
letter
Letter D.
D.
It shall be illegal to sell or deliver any
Yes.
hemp-derived cannabinoid products containing Delta 8. First verified, yeah, okay.
Okay,
We'll get that changed.
move to approve. Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll get that to full council. Number 5C, traffic safety tracker.
All right, this is my item, so long-awaited. So just as a little background, the Common Council adopted the traffic safety policy officially on March 18th, 2024. So along with this, we created an online GIS mapping tool for kind of anyone within the city limits to go in and make their concerns known. And we would review them as the Traffic Safety Advisory Committee, which is made up of the Engineering Department, Public Works, Fire Chief, Police Chief. So we kind of all get together every month, go over what we've gotten, and then go over some recommendations that we will present here. And then based on our policy, we'll probably just go on consent agenda on the Common Council. So I have the tracker here, which I've tried to lay out some details of the complaint and then just some crash data and data collection if that was necessary for each complaint. So I guess we have 13 to go through, and so we'll just start going down the list. And if everyone just wants to ask questions or make comments, maybe as we go through them, that might be the easiest. So the first one we got March 28th, 2024. So this is related to the Marathon gas station at 2nd and Cooley. And the concern was that there, is a safety concern with cut-through traffic trying to bypass the signal because they have a driveway on both Cooley and 2nd. So We evaluated, we haven't gotten any complaints from Marathon Gas Station about it. And we can't really make any changes on private property unless it was redeveloped. We looked at some crash data, and there was a few crashes over the past 3 years, but none of them were really identified as this being the issue. It was actually more like someone from Dairy Queen and Marathon Gas were trying to turn at the same time, and other ones were just, it was snowy, icy, distracted driving, failure to yield. So overall, the Traffic Safety Advisory Committee basically said there's really not much we can do at this time. So I guess any comments on that one?
And that came,
I don't know if we should go through like concurrence through each one, or how you guys feel, or at the end, if we need to just like accept the certain case numbers.
let's just go through one at a time, and then at the end, we can ask questions on specific.
Oh, okay, so I'll
Maybe-
just keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
What does AADT stand for?
Oh, annual average daily traffic. Yes, sorry, so. Okay.
Thank
so-
you.
Yep. Number 2 is at Fifth Street and Locust Street. This is a pedestrian safety one, so this is just right up the street from City Hall. And the complaint was about her being able to cross I guess it wasn't specified if it was Locust or Fifth, but I was assuming Locust Street. Just saying that there's no signs, people aren't slowing down when she's trying to cross the street. So we did do some speed data collection on this one, and we did have the 50th percentile was at 25 miles an hour. The 85th percentile was at 30 miles an hour, and there was a max speed 47 miles an hour. And we looked at crashes, and there was actually no crashes at 5th, let's see, let me see how I put the crashes in here. There was actually some crashes on failure to yield at this intersection, and 2 of the crashes directly were related to the uncontrolled intersection. So there's no yield sign on 5th Street, and there's no signage on Locust Street either. And so we are recommending that we put yield signs in on the side streets to Locust, on 5th and 6th. 4th Street and Locust already has a stop sign. And so that's kind of not necessarily, I guess, addressing the pedestrian crossing Locust, but we did feel like the low traffic volume should allow enough gaps for pedestrians to cross Locust. And hopefully other safety concerns at the intersection will be fixed by the yield signs. And that comes out, we'll just plan to take that out of the Public Works general operating budget. The next concern is on Stage Line Road, and that is related to vehicle speeds. And so we did put up multiple times data collection. It does show, 50th percentile over the speed limit of 35 miles an hour, the 85th percentile 6 miles an hour over the speed limit with some pretty high max speeds, and an ADT, so the average annual daily traffic of 5,600. So we definitely, the committee felt like there was a speeding issue along this road. It's a 4-lane road, really no, so it kind of just feels like you can just get on and go. And so we do recommend putting up the Your Speed signs in both directions. Actually, we've done speed radar in both directions, and both directions does seem to be an issue. So that actually, one permanent speed display sign we already purchased with ARPA funds a while ago, and we were just kind of waiting to use it, and we'll have to purchase a second one. We were able to get that approved with some remaining ARPA funds we had left over. And that actually already went through council, just to kind of push it through, I guess, with the timing of some other ARPA funds that we decided on.
So we could cross number 3 off.
Basically, yeah. And the person that made the complaint did say that she felt, we had put up the temporary speed display signs and she felt like it was actually working.
Good.
Okay.
So that was good. So then the next one is for Stage Line Road, and specifically it was for the intersection of the Stratford Way or Heritage Boulevard for pedestrian safety. So the concern is just, you know, she specifically said she witnessed 2 kids on bikes in the crosswalk, narrowly missed by a car. It is a 4-lane road, and so and it's a higher speed road for the roads we have in Hudson. And so we did feel like it is a safety concern, and so the best solution we felt like was the RFB, or the Rapid Rectangular Flashing Beacon. So essentially the pedestrian crossing signs that have a push button that you push it and then they blink and allow you to cross. So we said that that would be appropriate at that intersection, and then also Stage Line with the Coach Light Drive, just the intersection to the west, because they're essentially kind of the same configuration. So it made sense to do it at both intersections. And so those are, you know, a little more pricey to just kind of fit in existing operating budgets. So we put that in to try to include it in the next budget cycle, so which we are kind of going through right now. So that'll be in there to hopefully get approved. Okay, number 5. This is on First Street along Lakefront Park and the Mid-Current Church entrance there. So they reached out with a pedestrian safety concern, kind of speeding concern. Their entrance is, you know, kind of in the middle of the block essentially. So they were just, they wanted a marked crosswalk, I guess, directly at their door crossing the road. And we looked at it. There is actually already a marked crosswalk less than 200 feet to the south of there. And also, there's nothing to cross into. So essentially right at their door, if you are looking towards Lakefront Park, we have all that angled parking. So essentially, to make a safe crosswalk right at their door, we would have to get rid of a lot of parking stalls, put in another ADA ramp, you know, add more signage, pedestrian curb cut. And so that's a lot of effort when, you know, if they feel unsafe, they can go 200 feet to the south. Also, it's a little better visibility at the crosswalk to the south, so we felt like there was also a little bit of sightline concerns by putting it right at their door. So that one, we're not recommending any action.
Is that something that, I'm assuming that this is mainly a problem when they have services. And could they have their own crossing guards like the grade schools have?
They do.
Oh, they do, okay.
They do.
Oh.
We have volunteers that help with that. So the crosswalk isn't by the staircase where they go up. It's in the middle of, where there's no way to get up the stairs to the top there. Is that, because you're saying the door. Now, there's several doors that go into that, so I'm just not sure about that. But there are activities there more than just Sundays.
Okay,
As is with most churches, there are youth groups that go there. Sundays is obviously more difficult, especially with the parking in the boat launch and things like that.
Yeah, they didn't put a lot of detail. Well, here, let's see if details on timing and things.
Lynn, is there something that you think would be appropriate for that?
No, I know there is a crosswalk there, and I'll look at this, but where the crosswalk, I think, that's where you go up to the sidewalk, then you go up the stairs and then down to get into the door.
Where the existing
I
crosswalk
don't,
is?
do you have a picture that,
Should I pull it up? Should I pull it up on my screen? Would that be helpful?
yeah, if I can just, because I can see where that,
Oh, yeah, because even while Google Maps is out of date. So they put their, so this is where kind of they put the little dot right there in the middle. So then if we, that's like kind of like right here.
Yep, that's where they come in.
Yep, and then the crosswalk is right here.
But there's like a little entrance, there's a little flat part there.
Yeah, so right now there is kind of
Yep,
this.
that's where most people park, and they come down here and they go there, or they park over
Right.
here and are crossing right there.
Yeah. So this is where the striped crosswalk is.
And that's quite a ways down. I'm just saying from where people park, but yeah.
Yeah, if you're lucky to get front row parking, I guess.
Okay, there.
Yeah, I looked at some other, I know we don't officially have a crosswalk policy, but some of them I have looked at, you know, it definitely would be within the ranges. You don't really space crosswalks that close together.
Well, I
And-
think if we would, and I'm sorry to jump in on a conversation when we said we'd go through it all first, but we start putting crosswalks to every door, we're gonna have to do it everywhere,
Yeah, right.
to every business or whatnot, and we're setting a precedent, so we, careful what we do.
Yeah, and like I said too, at that spot, like, you know, there's kind of a curve in the road, so if people are parking
flat.
there, it's kind of like blocking pedestrians.
Yeah, there's no more curb there, though.
Curve in the road.
Oh, curb in the road, yeah, because
Yes,
the curb, there's no curb.
No,
when you
yeah, I
go,
meant
yeah.
curve in the road.
Not a B.
Yes. Okay, so I'll just go to the next one. We can always loop back. So the next one is on Mayor Road. So this one is about vehicle speed, so basically just saying excessive speeds morning and evening, commute times regularly observed on Mayor Road between O'Keefe and Aspen. So when traveling in both directions, drivers tend to increase their speed when they see until they see the 25-mile-an-hour signs, which are at the end of the long stretches. So there's more of a description, I won't read the whole thing, but we did take some speed data, and it did show that the 50th percentile speed is over the speed limit, and that the 85th percentile is 7 miles an hour over the speed limit, so that kind of warrants some sort of traffic calming. And we felt like the best thing to do that hopefully will help is straight, kind of adding the edge lines. So it's pretty wide through lanes through there. There's just a center line. So by adding the fog lines, it'll kind of narrow up the driving lane. We kind of felt like it would be excessive to just throw up some more 25-mile-an-hour speed limit signs. And the traffic is fairly low. On this one, it calculated 342 vehicles a day, so that's pretty low. So we didn't necessarily think the funds to do the digital speed display signs made sense. So we went with the fog line striping and adding another pedestrian crossing sign at one of the crosswalks, basically. So that would come out of, let's see, the signage could come out of our existing inventory, and we do have to order kind of another downward arrow for the pedestrian sign to come out of the general operating budget. And then we did actually, this one was one we also approved with the last remaining ARPA funds, so this one has kind of gone through council as well.
So, okay, so we'll send that on for approval, okay.
Okay, so number 7, this is 9th Street and Vine Street. So this one, we had concerns, basically with cars, I think mostly coming up the hill, going, I guess, eastbound, and for pedestrian safety in the crosswalk. So the person said she has witnessed near misses and requests something to call attention to the crosswalk. And so we recommend there's already a sign that kind of says blind intersection ahead, which kind of should be warning people, you know, to be paying more attention. And then also the pedestrian sign doesn't have like the downward arrow kind of indicating that there's a crossing right at that location. So we recommend adding the pedestrian crossing arrow. You can see it like pretty far down the hill, the pedestrian crossing sign, so we're hoping with the downward arrow, it will highlight more that there's an actual crosswalk at that location. So that can just come out of the Public Works general operating budget as well.
You haven't done any speed studies there.
No, we didn't set up for speeding. I think going the other direction, there's already a speed display sign. We did look at the crashes though, and none of the crashes were related to pedestrians, and none of the crashes were related to any sight distance issues. They were all like, oh, two people crossing and things like that. So we felt like kind of the hill wasn't really, subject to the crashes.
If you get a chance to do some traffic data this fall, I would really appreciate that if you think that
Yeah.
it would be useful data, which I think it would be.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
So sometime after school starts.
Right, yeah, which will be soon. All right.
Thank you.
Number 8, this is Chestnut Drive. So this is kind of, it's a little bit of a weaving neighborhood. So it's one of the curves along Chestnut Drive. A little bit, let's see, which intersection is it closest to?
It's near Ash Street.
Okay, yeah, so it's the first one coming south after Ash Drive, not the one over by Maple Drive. And the concern is basically speeding. So speeding between the speed humps and driving at unsafe speeds around the corner.
And I believe that the speed limit is 15 there, because we changed that.
Yeah, okay, yep. So let's see. We didn't go out, let's see what I put. We did kind of say to recommend a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit, and we thought we would collect more data during the school year.
Okay.
So I guess this one is a little bit outstanding. We didn't we felt like since it sounds like a lot of the speeding concerns are during school. That
I know students, especially when it's
right.
icy out, they speed up on the
Yeah.
curves. We know that because we've lost a lot of
Right.
bail boxes at the other end, at the
Oh,
Maple
sure.
Drive end.
So I guess that one is a little bit outstanding that we are gonna wait to collect, the speed data.
Are you suggesting move it to 15 to 25?
Yes, that's what we did discuss. I mean,
I thought we had some, didn't Maverick have some traffic data?
I think we might have, but I think we have from a long time ago.
Right at
where-
that curve, though, I don't think it's at the curve. I think
Yeah, probably not in the
it's all
curve.
over, it's probably closer to the Maple Drive end, probably.
So do you think
Birch
she's
or something.
concerned about speed around the curve or speed on
Yes, no,
Chestnut
it's,
Drive?
no, it's speed around the curve. She's on the little cul-de-sac that's right there.
Yep.
And, so she's talking about the curve.
Okay, let's see. I think he did, Maverick did put it out on the curve now. I just, for some
okay.
reason, I forgot to add it to the spreadsheet. I'm just pulling it up here.
There was some discussion too about school starting and then.
Right, I think that was
Re-educating the
too.
school bus companies about their speeds.
Right,
and
because-
all
Yes,
that.
I know
Because the
that.
primary complaint of speeding is
Yep.
generally the buses.
the buses,
correct?
yes.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And that is what we talked earlier, that is one of the downsides of speed humps, is that it's slow down, go over, roar off, slow down, go
Right.
over, so that it does sometimes have the opposite effect of not slowing, but actually speeding up.
Right. Yeah, okay, so we did do, on 7/31, and between 7/24, we did do some data right at the curve, and it was showing like an 85th percentile at 22 miles an hour, so that would be perfectly acceptable if the speed limit was 25 miles an hour, and the 50th percentile was 19 miles an hour.
Okay, thanks.
But, yeah. And then, yeah, definitely like Lynn said, kind of highlights the point about speed humps. Okay, so number 9, this one is also in the downtown area, I think just in general. I don't know if anyone has talked to him personally and has more details on if there's specific locations, but basically, he's concerned with the wheelchair accessibility. They don't have curb cuts along the access aisles, along the angled parking along First Street. So that we definitely felt like was important to have that. So, usually you have a handicap stall, then you have the extra aisle for them to get out and things, and then to expect them to like have to go in the street, I guess, to get up on the sidewalk. That's what they would have to do right now. So we do recommend putting the ADA ped ramps like right along First at those locations.
Yeah,
So-
he emailed me, because he's
Yeah.
my constituent. I forwarded the email to you, and he had pictures in there.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, there
Okay.
were pictures.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I noticed the pictures.
Yeah, and I don't know that I, identified the exact location.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I guess we felt like they all probably
They all need it, yes. It doesn't do you any good
but-
to have these parking spaces for people with disabilities, and then they can't, get on, they've gotta,
You're out,
they've gotta
you're stuck.
run their wheelchairs for
Right.
so many feet to
Into the
get to
road. Yeah.
an access ramp.
So we'll evaluate that more. So we recommend just adding it to another, when we do another sidewalk project. There wasn't really time to get it into, try to get it into
Okay.
this year's downtown
So,
project.
so next year's,
Hopefully, I think we had, I think I need to talk to Mike, I guess, and depending on how the budgeting and everything goes, since that would all be out of city funds, that none of that would be accessible to any other properties. So as, long as we get our funds approved, I guess.
but you've got
during
it
the-
down for TID 6.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So, well, that's true. Then,
you should look at that.
yeah.
How big, I don't remember how far it goes, but you should look at
Right.
it to snag as much money out of that and do sidewalks.
Right, yeah. I never get a clear answer sometimes on how much is in there,
So that's-
so.
Does that mean
that's what I
that's
would
done
hope.
then?
No,
No,
it means there's funds in TID 6 that we could potentially use.
But are there enough funds there too?
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's true. So hopefully we could do it next year.
Okay.
And then number 10 is Sophia Lane and Annabelle Way. So this is by the new Quick Trip in the Bella Rose neighborhood. And the concern is the signage concern. So right now there's 2 stop signs on one leg, and then the other 2 legs don't have a stop sign. And so basically they said people continue to pull out in front of oncoming traffic because they're not paying attention to the stop sign. This is a daily occurrence. We talked about it. We didn't, collect any data, but just kind of based on the situation and the location and the fact that there's a proposed second apartment building going there and a public park, we did feel like the always stop made sense at that intersection. So that can come out of, I think mostly our existing signage in inventory. We were able to have enough stop signs and always stops to just get that up kind of as soon as this gets approved.
that sounds good.
Yeah.
I go through that well, especially now with the construction.
Right.
You have to take the side street. And it is confusing to be there, because you're looking,
Right.
wait a minute, who's supposed to stop here?
Yeah.
I know I have to, but do the others have to?
Right. Yeah, I think they'll both kind of be busy,
And they're gonna get busier.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, number 11. This one, essentially, it's Elizabeth Way, again at another curve in the Bella Rose neighborhood. And this one, I guess we could just put on pause. I guess there are concerns of speeding in that area. The person that made the complaint personally had a teenager crash into our home. I think that was kind of a unique situation, a teenage driver going around a curve, like you said.
Yeah.
So, it is definitely an unfortunate situation, and we decided, she mentioned that the concern was also like more on the weekends, and we felt like once Vine Street is open and school starts, that's when we'll collect more data for that one.
That doesn't seem like it should be a high-traffic
No.
spot at all. I mean,
Right,
Annabelle
right.
Way has gotten a lot more traffic because of the closure on Vine, and that should
Right.
improve when Vine is reopened. But Elizabeth Way, that doesn't seem like that should be an issue, but I understand, but then again, kids and curves seem to
Right.
be the problem.
Right. So we'll just kind of hold off, I guess, on any recommendations so we collect the data. And then Cooley Road and 17th is the next one, number 12. This one is, we put up a temporary stop sign on Cooley during the Vine Street construction, just assuming, that's the detour route. I guess it worked out last time there was construction, so we put it up again. So this person said they think it should be permanent. Says it makes it easier to take a left turn onto Cooley from 17th. And, we discussed it and we did feel like since Cooley Road, it's a minor arterial roadway and there are more concerns for more rear end accidents if a permanent stop sign was installed. It sounds like the police have observed that when the temporary sign is in place, there are more rear end accidents. And the delay on Cooley Road in the peak hours is also a concern. I feel like if you guys have maybe experienced this, there tends to be a bigger backup on Cooley and there maybe is no or maybe one car waiting on 17th. So although yes, I feel like it can make it a little quicker to turn, it doesn't overall seem like a big concern. So we're recommending that, the temporary stop sign would go away and it would kind of open up as the previous conditions.
Is that still under consideration for a stoplight at some point?
Oh, I guess,
We
not
brought-
that I'm aware of.
We brought that up a while ago.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's not on my radar, to look at that, so,
okay.
maybe has fallen off the radar. I'm not aware of that at all.
Because what's happened is this has come back.
Yeah,
Got it.
We've had this suggestion by many people. I got emails as well.
Yeah,
And I didn't see the problem. Do you really think there is that big of an issue up there of rear ending?
It's not a huge issue, but it's a bigger issue than it is when there's no stop sign there.
Really? So you agree it's not warranted for,
I don't know, without having the data, I don't know that the traffic volume on 17th going south at that intersection would warrant any more than what we've already got there.
I would think during the school year too, it's busier.
we
So that would be
can
a-
do another, we can take data to
spot
get
for data,
traffic
yeah. Mhm, okay.
volumes on each leg, and there are specific, signal warrants in the MUTCD, so we could just try to,
well, there's the first step, yeah. Okay, so, all right, so
yeah,
there are more rear end accidents when the temporary signs are in place.
yes.
Okay, and I can, I drive that way quite a bit now. Yeah, the backup on Cooley is a problem.
Because there's far more cars on Cooley than there is on 17th.
17th, exactly,
Especially at the peak times.
yes.
And that roadway is, especially the further east you go, is a higher speed limit, right? So now you're coming up at 35 or 40 miles an hour and there's people stopped, back a lot from the stop sign. It can be kind of squirrely.
So what I'm hearing is a bigger issue there than just leaving a stop sign
Yeah.
up there. So we need to do more data and then really
Yeah.
look at that intersection.
Yeah, I think we could get the traffic volumes and that will tell us a lot, I think. I think either way, probably a stop sign doesn't make sense because of the speed and, from how it's functioning right now. A stoplight would probably make more sense because it can be green until someone pulls up and triggers it. Kind of
Yes.
like on the other side, actually, that's
Right.
how Crestview and Industrial is set up. Crestview is just open until someone comes, say they're coming from Fleet Farm, they trigger the signal and that's how that signal functions. So
Okay,
that, I know we try not to add more signals. We don't want to do that for cost
Not
and
expensive, and
maintenance
especially there's no stub outs out there for electrical.
but then
Right.
the next signal is at 11, so there's plenty of room in between
Yeah, I don't think that would be
that
as
they
big of
wouldn't
an
be
issue.
confusing.
Right.
Yeah,
So we could see if any of the traffic signal, are warranted, but I think for this one related to a stop sign, we could probably close it out.
So in looking now, it looks like case 2, case 4, case 7, case 10 are the ones that we would be taking action on tonight, correct?
Yeah, unless, I guess, do you want to take, I guess, like concur with the no action ones, like number 1?
Yeah, I was the one
Or-
that, like, I was
but-
thinking more of the approved, the recommendations.
Let's go with the approved first.
Okay.
So let me start here.
wait a minute, we haven't gone over 13 yet, but not that there's
Oh,
much
yeah.
to go over,
There-
but.
Yeah, there's not much, so this one
Oh.
just came in, more semi-recently. It's just speeding concerns on Grandview Drive. So I guess if there are any other comments that I should be aware of, but we will collect more data on that. There was a recent accident at one of the intersections, and so, it's a curvy road. We'll see kind of what the data says, I guess, but, yeah, I guess that one's to be determined.
Then I have a question for you. I got an email asking for a streetlight to be put in at Juniper Way and Oak Street, because that is really dark there at night when people are walking. Is that something that should go under the traffic safety, since that's something?
Just a light.
Yes.
I think that's something that I could probably,
I suggested that they just enter it into here, since it is a traffic safety
Sure.
issue, because they're concerned about the,
I think that's
Safety.
something, I could talk with Mike. There's some, I don't know, is there overhead power in that area?
well, the siren's right there, I think, or very close to it,
Usually,
but I
like,
don't know.
in some situations, some of our light poles are Excel owned, like,
Oh, yeah.
like along Vine, you'll see a light just right on a light pole. And so those, we get charged by Excel, and they like install them, we can just, and then other ones we like actually own and operate. So I'll have to look at that location and kind of maybe talk to Mike Mraz, the Public Works Director, about like what has been the process for that.
Yeah.
Because I
Okay.
do know that like one was added at Spruce and Vine at one point, there was no light pole there, and that one was fairly easy because there's already overhead power. It's like pretty easy to just put in a pole and then connect it to the power for Excel to do that. So
Okay.
this situation could be different.
All right, I'll
So-
forward the email to you.
Yeah, I would just do that. I probably wouldn't have them enter it in the.
Okay.
Okay, so in the interest of time, let's do
Yeah,
what we're
yeah.
gonna do here. What we're gonna do is, like Lynn was starting to do, number 2, right? Number 3,
Nope. 3's already been done.
no, well, we gotta include it. No?
No, it's
You're
already
right.
been done.
Yeah, never mind. So you said 2,
4,
4,
7,
7,
10. That's it. 2, 4, 7, 10.
9.
Nope, 9, they're looking to collect, to do more to see what they can collect. I
Oh,
thought
okay.
that was- But that was next year's. They were
Yeah,
looking at
okay.
that. That was my understanding.
I guess that one you guys could still probably approve. I think we'll put it, you could approve it to put it on next year's project, unless you wanted us to.
Well, what I want to do is present this to council as one motion that we've approved these 5 or 6 different projects.
Yep.
So those get done.
Yep.
No, 6 has already been done. She had said.
Yes, yep, that one went through council with the ARPA funds.
So
Okay.
it would be like approving 2, 4, 7, and 10. Do you want the same motion to say not to, but we're kind of, I don't think we have to do any kind of motion about like the ones that are done or the ones that.
No.
Action needed.
Right, we don't need to.
Okay.
We're
Well, the
just
one-
approving the ones that we're agreeing.
Correct.
And then requesting further action on the ones that aren't complete.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
that's.
Or like number-
That's implied.
yeah, let's leave that out, because that will just come back, and then when it
Okay.
gets
Yeah,
done, then
well, it'll come back again, yeah.
Okay.
I probably didn't need to put it on there, but.
No, it's good to see all of this.
Just in case there is discussion, more, input before we do much on it, but.
So, well, why don't you make I don't need to tell you to make a motion, but
Oh, no, go ahead. So I just want to make sure that I didn't miss anything on there.
I think so.
So move to approve the recommendations by the Traffic Safety
Committee.
Committee for case number 2, case number 4, case number 7, and case number 10.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. That's a good start, folks, that's for sure.
And thank you.
Yeah, I don't think, they're definitely coming in slower now, so.
And some of these bigger projects will then go to capital or budget process.
Yeah, that's.
Number 4 and obviously number 9.
And
And
very
9 can
detailed.
move faster, sorry, because of the TID district.
Yeah, so I'll just double check that one, but.
And thank you. The detail in this is really helpful to make decisions.
Yeah.
So thank you for all your
Okay.
hard work, everybody on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
no,
fig-
this is a good way of summarizing the data.
Yeah, it's a lot, so.
Okay, thank you. You feel free to, if you want to leave, you can as well.
Well, one question for
Oh,
We like
okay.
having you around.
you. Any word on when Vine Street might reopen?
Oh. Officially, I cannot say, no. They still need to, the barricade it is basically, people are driving through it now because the barricades aren't really up because they were waiting for the wear course to cure a little longer, but they might be striping it tomorrow or Monday. There's a few kind of little things that need to be done, so we don't have an official date that it's gonna be open, but it will be soon.
Please, because we're getting calls and emails.
Yeah,
A lot
I'm
of
sure you
people are
are too.
there's a few signs
My
that
answers
need to
are
be,
simple.
well,
When it's done,
Can't go there.
I know, it's, yeah. There's a few minor things that, it's just, also Excel will be coming in next week to finish some pole relocation, so it's just better to keep it closed right now.
okay. Well, thank you for coming to our meeting and taking the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's up to you if you stay or not.
Okay.
It is dinner time. Number 6, informational items. Are there any? Okay, none. Number 7, EMS update.
EMS updates, I don't have a whole lot. Just some volumes for June. Our volumes were down in June compared to last year. We had 119 calls compared to 130 that we did last year in 2023. And then in July, we were down as well. So July 2024, we did 144, and last year we did 150. We've not had any mutual aid calls in the city of Hudson in May, June, and July. The CAD to CAD interface that we just keep hearing about is, they're working on it. It is a huge project. It's moving forward. At one point, we were supposed to go live with it in June, but there were some issues not on the county side, I think on the Tri-Tech or Central Square, I think it is, side. So they're close. Just waiting for it. So, other than that, as far as the department goes, things are good. Some of the issues we have right now is our vehicles. Keeping our vehicles on the road has been a huge problem. We have 6 new ambulances on order, and we're still waiting. So, we're hoping we'll take delivery of 3 of them. 2 for sure in September. Those are new ones coming from the factory, and then we have a rebuilt that we're hoping is done in September as well. That'll give us a little bit of help, but we've been struggling, along with everyone else. Everyone's in the same boat. Staffing-wise, we have 3 full-time positions open Now we'll be doing interviews in the next week or so. We're just opened those applications, or positions, I mean.
No issues with service coverage.
No, we've not had any issues with service coverage.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
What happened to the 3 full-time that are opened?
So we had a couple people move on, and I think if we had a lot of changes last year, we changed our positions. We went from the 1.2 FTE down to a 1.0, so we're working 40 hours a week. So we had to hire 10 people for that, but then we had a lot of turnover in that time frame as well. And we're still trying to get caught up. So we still had 3 positions that were open, but we can only take on so many at a time.
Yeah.
So I have 4 people in doing their field training right now. I don't have enough depth to add more to that, so we kind of got to do it in steps. So then I'm hoping these last 3 will be good for a while. The good news is we've been getting a lot of applications.
Good.
A year ago, I reported to you, we weren't getting any applications. So when we did interviews, I think in February, we had to go back and forth on who we wanted to pick. Everyone was really good, so we had some really good candidates. That's a good thing. That's all I have to report.
Thank you. Fire department.
A couple of things. 2 weeks ago, we were awarded a federal grant for the purchase of fire hose. We received an AFG grant for $35,000 with a 10% match from the city. So about 3,800 of that. So the whole grant's worth about 38,000. So that'll be going towards the completely replacing all our fire attack hose. Some of our hose right now dates back to the 1970s. Wow. Probably should have been replaced about 30 years ago. So this will be a huge accomplishment for us to do that. So it should cost nothing other than our portion will probably come out of our operating budget. So it's already there. So that was a big feat. Second year we put in for it, we were awarded the second year. So that's good. We had 7 new firefighters start in July, so we're bringing our numbers back up. And pancake breakfast is October 6th.
Very nice. Good to hear. Police department updates.
So we've attached the calls for service report for June is the first one. So we responded to 1,357 calls for service. Averages out to be about 60 a day. Staffing is full staffed. These are the busy times of the year, right, for us. So June, July, August are pretty busy for us. The average calls for service per day is probably 25 to 30 more than what it is when school's in session. And we have less tourist and road traffic, on the interstate going through, right? It's just a busy time of the year in general in an area like this where you have people moving about. So that was good. You'll see July we had about 1,862 calls for service, the average of like 64 a day. So we're gonna be right in that wheelhouse every day, 60 to 65 calls for service per day. But there's nothing that's happening that's not ordinary, from what we see from year to year. You can pretty much throw a dart at a certain call for service type month to month year and probably guess within 5 to 10 of how many you're gonna have. So, we're staying pretty consistent that way.
Okay. Any questions for any of the chiefs? Thank you all for the hard work and thank your teams. It's important that you guys have good teamwork and we really do appreciate it. So thank you. Number 8, communications and items for future agendas. I have 2. I would like for us to revisit the stop sign on Bear Road coming into town once again. It's been brought to my attention that it's an issue, especially in the winter.
Bear speeding, did you say?
No, the
Stop sign.
the stop sign, whether we should keep it or remove it. I know we've had these conversations before, but it's come up again. So let's revisit it with some engineering ideas, and maybe the task force can look at it as well.
Did you say mayor or bear?
Bear,
Oh, coming in,
Did I-
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
The five-way stop.
Yep.
yeah. And the other one is a speeding campaign. It's been brought to my attention that we, as a public safety committee, need to work on speeding in the city of Hudson, and that Hudson should be known, just like North Hudson and Bayport, that you cannot speed here, or run red lights.
Or
It's-
stop signs.
it's just getting way too much. So this is an enforcement issue, and I don't know if we need to talk it to death, or the chief makes the plan and does it. But it's something that we should definitely touch base with at our next meeting, about cracking down on speeding and all the other two issues. I think it's important we get back to the city of Hudson being, you can't speed there, can't speed there. It's gotten away from us. No fault of anybody's. Any other items for the agenda?
Yeah, what was that one item? Scooters and e-bikes.
Oh, sorry, thank you. We need to take a look at scooters and e-bikes. There seems to be a lot of kids on these things speeding way past. It
Well, I think the bigger
appears
issue
to
is that
be,
they're on the sidewalk.
yeah, sidewalks, but it appears they're just zipping way past, so. But it is an issue, someone's gonna get hurt.
Were you gonna put Mr. Ritchie on the agenda also?
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. I thought maybe Jeff might have had
Yep,
that.
I had that already, code
Okay,
review and Mr. Ritchie's complaint.
But appreciate it. Any other business for the public safety meeting? Committee? Seeing none,
Move to adjourn.
Second?
we are stand adjourned. Thank you all.